How you doing, guys, and welcome to my channel. Now today I am doing a feature on the original T800 series from Hot Toys, from Terminator 1 and Terminator 2, the only ones that really matter to me, to be honest. I'm gonna do them in sequence that they appear in the movie, so starting from the Tech-Noir down to the DX13. Now, having a look at the Tech-Noir Terminator MMS-136 was released in 2010, November 2010. I got him for a milestone birthday in February 2011. So he is my oldest and my very first Hot Toy. I got him long before I even knew what Hot Toys were. Well, not long before, but you know, I didn't know what they were when I got him. But anyway, so here's how I usually display him on this little diorama that I have for the Tech-Noir scene. That's usually the way that I put him on the shelf. Now, I did have him exposed for a long time, and he did get some wear and tear on him. So looking at the accessories, we'll go through them, starting off in my usual fashion, I suppose. From left to right, we will have a look at his Uzi 9mm. Oh yeah, instantly I can't get focused. That's brilliant. Can I get some focus here? There we go. His Uzi 9mm, not a whole lot of weathering on it, not really any dry brushing, but you can see there is still plenty of detail there, plenty of detail. Completely movie accurate and accurate to the Uzi 9mm. You can see the strap there does come apart, and you can extend the stock out, which I will not be doing it because I'll never get that back in. And also you can take out the mag, and you can see there is a round there in the magazine, which again, 2010, absolutely brilliant for 2010. And then next up we have his AMT Hardballer 45 cal long slide. Reason it's called a long slide is because it's basically an M1911 with the extended slide on it, and we have the laser sight. It all works, all the mechanisms work. It slides back, the hammer cocks back. Now I can't get it back up. There we go. And again, the magazine comes out with a round at the top there, so it is a full mag. And there is one of them in all three figures coming up for some reason, but we'll get into that a bit later on. As you can see there, all the mechanisms work, and it is finished quite nice. And then moving on to his Ithaca 37 12 gauge shotgun. Wood grain, not real wood obviously, but wood grain effect on the back there, painted well. Again, not really any dry brush, no weathering on it, but it still does the job. It looks quite nice. There is a bit of a hideous mold line running up the top of it there, but again, it was 2010. Still, it looks really nice and it does the job. You can see there is some nice moldings there, and of course the pump action does work indeed. So moving on, then we will take a look at the tools that he comes with. Now these are all made of metal, something that Hot Toys don't do anymore, and you can see that all the detail is there in them, all the rivets in all the right places, and all the little bits and pieces. And you can see there, actually I'll show you, that they do, mechanisms do work. Everything does work on little rivets. And we also have a scalpel, and we have 4 surgical pliers, I suppose we call them, and again they all work, and all made out of metal, which is something that we don't get from Hot Toys anymore. Moving on to the swap out hand, you can see there that it has some fantastic detail there. If I can just get focused in, you can see all the metal rods that are the workings of the arm of the endoskeleton, and you can see all that shiny blood, and you can see there that the skin, just like in the movie, has been split apart there. And you can also see the blood in between his fingers, which is exactly movie accurate. It looks fantastic. Again, for I keep saying it, 2010 looked really well. I was blown away when I first seen this figure. Moving on, we will have a look at his hands. He does come with 2 more hands. He does come with 6 hands. There's 2 on the figure. We have 2 closed fists here. You can see he has the detailed studded gloves on him there, and I don't know if you can pick it up on camera, but some of the hands have kind of gone off color over time, but still does the job, and it's hardly noticeable. And then moving on, I suppose we'll have a quick look at this alternate head sculpt, which is the damaged eye head sculpt. You can see there, I hope you can see on film there, that it has gone color. This was the one I displayed him on in a room, a very smoky room, for a long time, and he did go a little bit off color, so I don't display this head sculpt anymore, but still the details are there, and we will have a look at him on the figure a bit later on. This is probably a stronger head sculpt, to be honest with you. It does look a bit more like Arnie, even though he has the damaged eye. So moving on, I suppose we will have a look at the figure itself, and just having a quick pan up and down of him. And like I said, this was my very first Hot Toy figure. He has gotten a bit grubby. He was on display in my room, a very smoky room, for a long time, for many years, and I had this figure for a couple of years before I got any more Hot Toys, before I really got into collecting. So I didn't really understand the ins and outs of looking after these guys when I got them, and I had no intentions on being a Hot Toy collector when I got him either. So there we have him. You can see that he is a bit grubby. His jacket, I hope you can see anyway, that his jacket is a bit grubby, but this head sculpt was protected and was in the box for a very long time, so it is still in decent enough nick. Starting from bottom to top with him, you can see his boots are a bit dollish. They're a bit out of scale. The front of them there, you can see, is a bit flat. This part here is very thick. It makes him look like he has a big club foot, and like I said, we have this flat bit at the front that's just way too flat. But there is a bit of light dry brushing done on the front of them there, and we do have some detailing of some folds and the buckle and the seam going up the side, and we have this piece of rubber here to replicate this metal studded bit on the boots, which is painted well and a nice attention to detail. Moving up to his combats, they are a bit darker. Like I said, it was on display and disposed. They are a bit darker than they would have been, but they weren't movie accurate anyway, in my opinion. I think they were too light originally anyway. You can see the original color coming through on the folds there. No weathering on these combats whatsoever when I got them. Pockets don't work, and there's no button on the pocket, and like I said, I don't think they're as dark as they should be in the movie, but again, no weathering. But nonetheless, they still done the job for 2010. And then moving up, we'll take a look at his t-shirt. Quite movie accurate t-shirt. I'm not sure if those words are written on it in the movie. I can't remember. But it definitely does the job, and as far as I know, it's extremely movie accurate. And moving on to the jacket, you can see the detail there of the drawstrings on the inside of the jacket there. Nice detail. And if I just actually have a look at the inside of the jacket there, you can see the original color of the inside of the jacket there compared to the sleeve there that has gone a bit off color over the years, which is a bit unfortunate. But the jacket is incredibly movie accurate. All the pockets are in the right places. It has the drawstrings in it, all the zips, all the buttons. And moving around to the back, you can see all the studs on it. Now you can see there that I have lost 2 studs off the arm and 1 stud off the top corner there. But I have seen ones in way worse condition, so it's not doing too bad. And as for the grubbiness of the jacket, to me, maybe it just adds more realism, because it was a bit clean when I first got it. So I'm not making excuses for myself now. I should have looked after it. But anyway, you can see that we do have the chain there as well that goes over the shoulder. That is incredibly movie accurate. And moving up to the head sculpt, again 2010, when I first opened the box of this, when my first hot toy, I was absolutely blown away by how accurate this was. I stared at it for a long time. I couldn't get over it. It looks really nice. The paint apps, they're showing their age a little bit. The sculpt is definitely showing its age. There's not as much detail in the sculpt, and it's certainly the hair, even though it is 2010, it still looks well. The head sculpt, like I said, the hair, it looks great for 2010, and probably on par with modern third-party head sculpts or hair sculpts, to be honest with you. As you can see there, by today's standard now with hot toys, that would be a poor quality hair sculpt, but it still looks really good. And like I said, on par with probably modern third-party. Yeah, head sculpt was really strong in its day. Still probably one of the stronger ones, maybe. I'm not sure. We'll go through them all and we'll see. But there you have the first head sculpt, or the original head sculpt that he comes with in the box. So we will pop the other head sculpt on him now, and we will have a look at that. And here we have the alternate head sculpt, or the damaged die head sculpt with the shorter hair. Even with the no eyebrows, it does have a strong likeness to Arnold Schwarzenegger. There's no disputing who it is. Just panning up and down again with him with that head sculpt. And we will zoom in and take a closer look. Again, guys, I have to stress that the colour of this one did go a bit off. He must have been a few years on a shelf in a very smoky room, but it still looks absolutely fantastic in my opinion. Yeah, you can see the shorter hair compared to the other head sculpt, and the lack of eyebrows. It is a bit shinier than the other head sculpt. I don't know if that's happened over the years, whether it has gone shinier because of the wear and tear to it or the exposure. I'm not sure, but you can still see there that it does have all of Arnie's features from in the movie and the damaged eye. I think the likeness is really strong in this one, and like I said, in 2010 it just blew me away. I did have this one on display for a long time. You can see the shininess of and the wetness of the blood in the eye there. When the light hits it, it looks really nice, and a few blood splatters on his forehead. And again, looking at the hair sculpt, or the hair molding, on par with modern day third parties, if you ask me. Still looks really well, still holds up really well. And there you have it for the Tech-Noir Terminator. So moving on to the battle damaged MMS-238 Terminator, or the police shootout Terminator. Now this is generally how I pose him, with the two guns in hand, just like this. I don't like to do too much of a dynamic pose with that leather jacket, as it is notorious for peeling, as we all know. So moving on to his accessories, or all that comes with him in the box, and we will start off with his Spaz 12 shotgun with the stock removed. It should have a stock folded over the top there, but the Terminator took it off and used this little tassel, I believe. Yeah, you can see it's movie accurate. It does have that little tassel or wrist strap on the side there, or on the back, and the attention to detail on this gun is absolutely fantastic. This guy did come out in early 2014, so Hot Toys had even added more detail to their figures at this point. And you can see the bit of weathering, and you can see that the charging handle does work there, which again, it's on its spring, is absolutely amazing. And we do have the pump action working, although Arnie does use it in semi-auto mode. In a very clever way in the movie, because he can't pump it because he's holding the other gun. So there we go. That's the Spaz 12, and moving on to the AR-18 with the stock off again. The poor man's AR-15, as some people call it. Again, not really much weathering on this one, but the attention to detail is fantastic, as you can see there. we have some great attention to detail, and that charging handle does work on a spring just like the spas. And moving up the barrel there, you can see that it is exactly movie accurate. And we have a double stacked mag that you can take out and load the other way, which is fantastic, and again movie accurate. You can see the charging handle working there. And then we have his sling that he has hanging from it. And then next up we have his AMT hardball or long slide. Not going to go into the details with it again, guys. Same as, must have had loads of stock of this gun. Same as the last one. The hammer, yeah, I've pushed the hammer too far back. Brilliant. Can I get this back now without breaking it? Yeah. There we go. So the AMT hardballer, another one. This one's a bit cleaner than the other one, the last one I showed you guys, because this one spent its whole life in the box. Next up we have his revolver. I'm not sure what make of revolver he used, but we have his revolver. The hammer doesn't seem to go back. If it does, it doesn't want to. But still nice. He does shoot this from the motorcycle after he ditches the AR-18, I believe. If my memory serves me right. Does it load? Does it open up? It wants to. It seems a bit stuck. I'm a stickler for these. I like, if it won't open, I'm a forcer. And then I break them, of course. Okay, we have it open. There you go. Again, they don't have to do those little things to the guns, but it just adds that bit more realism. And again, it's not really an accessory that's used in the film. I think it might be in 1 or 2 shots in the film or sequences in the film. Didn't have to add it, but they did, so kudos to them. Moving on, we have his glasses. Unfortunately, I dropped mine once and I broke the tip off one of the arms there. You can see one is longer than the other, so it doesn't quite reach his hairline, which really bugs me when I look at it. But nonetheless, they still look grand. They still do work. They fit on him. They are a bit opaque. You can see through them just a little bit, so when his eye is on, you can see it through the glasses, which is nice. And something I will put up on the photographs a bit later on. And then moving on to his hands, we have his battle damaged hands. You can see the endoskeleton, the blood. You can see some flesh coming through there. I wish they gave us more hands with the battle damage. There's only 2, a left and a right, which is unfortunate. But they're not exact molds of each other. They are different molds. You can see the endoskeleton, the gore and the flesh there coming through, and how wet it all is and how wet it looks. A great mold, fantastic mold. Like I said, I wish they'd given us more of these. You can see the finger coming through the tip of the glove there, which looks fantastic. And then we have 2 closed fists, 2 relaxed palms, and a gripping hand. And of course there's 2 trigger hands on the figure as well. And moving on to the alternate head sculpt, we will have a look at him on the figure a bit later on. You can see that the painting apps and the detail there is absolutely fantastic. In my opinion, on par, if not better than the DX13. I know a lot of people say the likeness to Arnie isn't great in this mold. I still think it looks really well. Like I said, the detail is probably better than the DX13. And you have to remember, he has no eyebrows in that as well, so maybe that's throws some people off. But having a look at him as he comes out of the box, you can see that base there that I didn't mention as well. It looks really nice with the homemade explosive that Kyle Reese throws at him. Yeah, so let's get closer in and have a look at this guy. So anybody who has this figure or is familiar with this figure knows that the jacket was notorious for peeling, and mine was no different. Let's pop the glasses on him there, and you can see that the likeness to Arnie really comes through once you put these glasses on, if I can get them on straight. Now, once you put the glasses on, I feel that it becomes a much stronger likeness to Arnie, in my opinion. You guys let me know what you think. But yeah, as I was saying about the jacket, it was notorious for peeling, and there is a lot of them gone in the bin over the years. But moving in, we can have a look at his boots. Very different mold to the boots on the previous figure. Much updated mold, not half as out of scale or dull looking this part, and the front is all in scale again, and you can see that there is a better mold and a better paint job done on the buckle there on the boots. Completely new mold and definitely needed to be done. And again, the rubber bit on the boot there to replicate that metal buckle. Moving up, we have more movie accurate combats on him this time. Definitely the right shade of colour. No weathering on them. Unfortunately, we could have done with a little bit of weathering on them. We do have some side pockets there with some buttons this time, which is movie accurate. But unfortunately, I would have liked some weathering on them. But not a deal breaker, still looks absolutely fantastic. Moving up, we'll take a look at his t-shirt, and you can see that the print or the design on the t-shirt is movie accurate. And we have some bullet wounds on the torso and the chest, painted onto the body, which show through in the holes on the t-shirt, which look really nice. Yeah, they line up really nice, and it looks again more realistic when they've painted the body on the other side of the damaged t-shirt. Moving on to the jacket, you can see there that it is a pleather material. I have coated this jacket, I have treated this jacket, because if I just lift up the arms there, you can see that I did have some, if I can get it into focus there, you can see hopefully on film that there is a little bit of flaking and some damage to the jacket, and that happens from grabbing the jacket like that and pulling on the peg and squeezing it there to pull the peg off. Just to me, it just ripped mine almost immediately after I got it. So I suggest anybody who has this figure or is planning on getting this figure, swap out those hands or leave the hands on it. Don't be taking them on and off. You can see on the other side here as well, where probably a bit clearer, where it started to rip up here as well. And like I said, I did treat the jacket to prevent it from peeling anymore, and that worked out really well. I done that a couple of years ago, and there's been no more peeling or flaking. You can see the jacket is movie accurate. Oh yeah, just to mention there that those bits there, the flaps, did used to be pinned down or stitched down. You can see the bit of stitching there on them. I thought they were a bit flat, so I snipped the stitch so that they'd come out a little bit and look a bit more realistic and sit a bit more realistic. It was a bit of a risk. I wasn't sure if they were gonna fold out, but they sit nice. Moving around to the back, you can have a look at the damage on the back of it. There are some 9mm bullet holes all around the jacket, and some tears in the jacket showing the t-shirt, and again a nice attention to detail. There is some blood on the back of the t-shirt as well. Yeah, like I said, the jacket notorious for peeling, guys, so take care if you are planning on getting this figure or picking them up at some stage. Moving on to the head sculpt, again, like I said, no eyebrows. It does throw a lot of people off on the likeness. It is there once you put the glasses on. My issue with this guy, really, if you look, I think his neck is a little bit narrow. I think his neck could do with being a little bit thicker, and I think that would have added to the likeness. Zooming into the eye there, you can see the depth to the sculpt there and the detail that is in there. I think it looks really nice, really well done. and the paint apps are really well done. You have to remember this is 4 years after the Tech-Noir one, so they had improved their paint apps, and it clearly shows on this figure. You can see the slight 5 o'clock shadow on him there. You can see the veins in his head, and you can see that the hair is sculpted quite nice as well. Again, more upgrades to their hair sculpts over the years. And if we just have a quick look at the back there, you can see the divide where the batteries go at the back for the eye. There is no rolling eyeball function on this guy, unfortunately, but it was early days for Hot Toys. So there you have the battle damaged or police shootout MMS-238 Terminator from Terminator 1. Just giving them a quick pan up again there, guys. Fantastic figure. Will they make a 2.0? Who knows? They might, just because Hot Toys are fully aware of how that jacket disintegrated on a lot of people. And now we have the second head sculpt on him, which I think is phenomenal, to be honest with you. You can see the scuffs on his head, the dirt on the forehead and around the cheeks, and you can see all the blood all over him. Let's just get a little bit closer in there. Absolutely fantastic attention to detail. You can see the depth. You can see the teeth in there of the endoskeleton. You can see all the hydraulic pipes there. It just looks absolutely fantastic, and you can see all the way into the crevices, and again all the blood all over his forehead, and the skin peeled back there on the top of his head. Looks absolutely fantastic. This is one of the goriest Hot Toys head sculpts I've ever seen, to be honest with you. Yeah, again, like I said, it looks to me better than the DX13, or at least on par with the DX13 for the sculpts and the attention to detail. Just try and get in as close as I can there, guys, so you can see it. It looks just amazing. As I said, the depth to it and the detail and the goriness to it is unlike any other Hot Toy I've ever seen. Just taking the back off there to expose where you put the batteries for the light up function on the eye. They both have the light up function, but unfortunately don't have the rolling eyes. So there you have it for the Hot Toys MMS-238 Battle Damaged Terminator, or the Police Shootout Terminator. Next up, the Battle Damaged T800 Endoskeleton. Just having a quick look at the box there, because Hot Toys just don't make boxes like that anymore, as far as I'm concerned. That looks fantastic. Quickly going through the weapons and the accessories, you can see he doesn't have much. I don't know why he has another AMT hardball alongside. There's no way an Endoskeleton is going to be walking around with one of them. They must have had some serious amount of overstock on those guns. Moving on, we have his phase plasma rifle with the 40-watt range. Not much weathering to it. Well, no weathering to it really, but there is a bit of detail there, as you can see, and it does do the job for the figure. So yeah, there you go. Not much really to say. Really light plastic. And then we have his minigun. I'm sure there is a name to it. I think I've heard it before, but I just can't remember what it is. You can see there is a lot of weathering on it there, and some light dry brushing to get the weathering effect. It's not just painted one color, which is a nice bit of detail there to it. And it's very light. So there you have it. That's it for the endoskeleton. So moving on to the figure itself now, guys. This guy is extremely delicate. I am not really gonna touch him. I am gonna just scan up and down him for the sake of the video. I am not gonna be touching him because he, like I said, he is all plastic and he's extremely delicate. This is generally how I pose him. I just leave him stood like this. Moving down him nice and slowly, you can see that he is clearly the battle damaged one and not the clean version. And the reason why I got this guy over the clean version, as I just thought the clean version looked a bit plasticky and the paint job didn't do the job for the chrome effect, where you could kind of get away with it with this guy. Moving into the feet, you can see that every toe there is articulated. You can move all of the toes up and down, and you can move from the middle of the foot up. You can move it all in one piece as well. And not to mention the base there as well with the skulls on it, which is really nice and painted really well. There is a shin pivot there. You can see where it pivots at the shin, and moving up you can see all the detail into it, the scoring and the etching in it. Basically from being in battle. There is no shin rotation, or sorry, thigh rotation, but it's in the shin. But there is a back and forth which works in sequence with those hydraulics there. As you move the legs back and forward, those hydraulics do work. Looking at the hands there, every single finger and every single knuckle in this figure is articulated. Very delicate, extremely delicate. Yeah, I don't really move them that often, guys. I'm almost afraid to move them now. I'm afraid something's gonna fall off there. Yeah, moving up, we will continue up the figure there, and you can see that he has more weathering and more etching on him. And you can see his fingers wrapped around the gun there, wrapped around the grip for the gun there, which took a while to get into place. And in the midsection there, he does have rotation from left to right that works off those hydraulics there as well. They move with it. And you can see there is some battle damage on the chest there, just on the right of the chest. You can see, or his left, right, some blaster damage there and some weathering. And looking into the meat and potatoes of him there, really into the core of him, you can see there is a hell of a lot going on, guys. There is an awful lot going on in there. Amazing attention to detail with him, and extremely delicate. You can see that these pipes here, these tubings here, are flexible and they move quite well. But I'm afraid that if you move them too much, they would detach from where they attach onto the shoulder there. Moving the arm out just a little bit, you can see that there is some articulation out to there, and it does move back and forward, although I'm scared to do it every time I do it, guys. And then moving up to the head sculpt, I ran out of batteries for the eyes, guys, so I don't have the eyes on at the moment, but I will have them on in some photographs at the end of the video. There is articulation in the head. You can see it does move left and right, and there is some up and down articulation, and his jaw does open and close, which is something I didn't expect when I got him, but there you go. His jaw opens and closes, which is absolutely amazing. It's brilliant. Just going down from the side profile, I suppose we'll pan down again. You can see the detail in the skull there, in the endoskeleton skull, and all the wiring running down. And just panning down, you can see again more battle damage on the chest piece there, more scoring and etchings. Again, just having a quick look at the phase plasma rifle and his fingers wrapped around that grip. You can see that some of the screws in there have gotten a bit rusty over the years. Nothing I can do about that, really. I could probably paint them, I suppose. Yeah, so there you have a side pan down, and just a quick look at the base again there with all of those skulls on it, painted quite well. And I suppose we will do a pan up from the back as well. You can see again all of those details, all of those hydraulics. They do push up and down as the figure moves. There is a bend in the knee that I think is ratcheted. I can't remember. I don't move it that often, but I think it is a ratcheted knee. Again, all the hydraulics in the back there, and the spinal column, you can see that it's twisted just there where there is a rotation on him. Fortunately, you can see those screws there at the back. I don't know, maybe they could have capped them or something. And you can see again all the intricacies and all the hydraulics that work on his arms there. Will I chance moving one of those arms to show you the hydraulic? Ooh, just bend that arm there and you can see the hydraulic just extending out. And you can see even in the lateral area, in the lats area there, you can see those hydraulics. There's the button there for turning the lights on and off. Don't think that's movie accurate as far as I can remember. I don't think there was a button in his back. And moving to the back of the skull, you can see there is a blaster shot in the back of his skull. Somebody got cheeky and shot him in the back of the head. Again, just zoomed in there, you can see all the intricacies, all the detail, all the paint apps, all the weathering. It just looks amazing. Just moving down again, you can see again all of the just all the detail. It looks absolutely amazing, guys. This is not a cheap figure. I got him on the aftermarket a few years ago, and I did pay a pretty penny for him. I don't think he goes for any less than maybe €500, I think, 500-600 euro. But I do believe Hot Toys are going to be making a fresh die-cast version of this figure, so the aftermarket value of this figure will plummet when that happens, which I don't mind. That's not why I collect these figures. So there you have the T800 Battle Damaged from Hot Toys. I'm going to leave you with photographs of all three figures, guys, and thank you for watching. And part 2 with the Terminator 2 figures coming up, so keep an eye out for that, and like and subscribe. Cheers, guys.